right, another episode of Tech on Ice coming at you. I want to talk a little bit about, so it's been in the news probably for the last few months, and I think now we're starting to see more and more in this space, and we'll talk about like this agentic thing in AI. Let's talk about what it is and what I mean. This stems from recently Google announced Project Astra. We'll talk about Astra in a second, but let's talk about what agentic means. So to date, we've talked a lot about models, like large language models, like your GPT 4.0, your Claude Sonnet, Google Gemini, what have you, right? So like those are models, like LLMs, large language models, and different kinds of models for different use cases, different training, different sizes, different performance, what have you. But it's always been, okay, so on top of the models, you build something. You build some RAG, or retrieval augmented generation, so like generative AI. Like you're creating content, videos, text, music, whatever, based on prompts. But now we're seeing more and more this idea of extensions, or they use the phrase agents in the LLM space. Extensions, like if you're using like GitHub Copilot, they use extensions, but like in general, it's agents. And what agents are is it's just basically building on top of the models to do a very particular thing. And what we're seeing some of these large AI companies do is start to build, I would like to phrase them as task automation. So right now, to date we've talked about like the creation of content. Hey, create me a taco recipe. Hey, create me a video of somebody running down the street. Hey, create me some music. Right? That's creating content, right? Text, video, audio, generated content. And now, then the reason why I mentioned Astra before is like it's automating tasks, like in a web browser, for instance. And Microsoft has Magentic, I think it's the name of their tool. Claude has something as well in this space. Like the idea is like, hey, a prompt. I want you to open a web browser, go to my email, send an email for me, blah blah blah. Right? So automating tasks, which to me is very interesting, because let's be real, we're like what, 3 years in this AI journey, like at least being very publicly well known. Like that's when GPT, was it 3 years ago or 2 years ago? I don't remember. Years or time is weird. And we've talked a lot about like generating stuff, but now we're talking about generating content. Now we're talking about generating tasks. So what does that actually mean for like us as developers, us as end users, what have you? As somebody who loves automation, I see this as very interesting. As somebody who also appreciates the fact that one of my skills is being able to like figure out how to automate things, it makes me a bit nervous. But not like nervous like it's gonna replace my job, but like it's gonna take some of the fun out of things. You know, things like GitHub Copilot or Claude, or some of these models and some of these tools, they're great because they let me like just get from that first start, and then I can do the rest of it myself, or I can kind of guide the way. But when we start to talk about like automating like end-to-end tasks, I question, it's like, well, when do I get to do the fun thing that I want to do? So that's what I've been thinking about. And we're still very early on in this, and I don't know like who like the end user is for a lot of this stuff. I don't know if there's a particular segment of people out there, consumers or businesses, that very much need like, oh, I want to create an integration between this and this, and it just does it for you, like all of the steps. If it's a web browser, open up different apps or what have you. It's interesting because there's value in it, but also, we talked recently about like how much AI costs to run and how much it eventually will cost customers to use. Is it really there? Is the value there? Especially down this task automation phase. Because companies, like once this becomes real and it's available, companies are going to say like, oh, do we really need data entry people now? because we can just automate data entry, like using a prompt, which is interesting. I think at the end of the day, this stuff is really early, but it's very fascinating because we've talked so long, in the grand scheme of things, about like generating content and how problematic that is between copyrights and things like that. But now we're talking about like automating like whole end-to-end tasks. So anyway, that's kind of my thought. It's been interesting to me. I read some articles about it, so I thought I would talk about it. And comment down below, like if you've seen some of these tools, if you watch some of the videos that have been put out, what your thoughts are on like these agents and automating tasks, like with like in Windows or whatever, right? It's kind of interesting. So comment down below what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear them. And as always, like and subscribe. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.